You said how did it change?
What changed? Is it just everything you guys have been through? Or?
I really don't know. I don't think complacency is a word for us because I think that we're all still very hungry. But you know, I really don't know the answer to that.
Was that just a defensive players-only meeting, or was that a whole team, or what was that?
It was a whole team, and you know, offense was in there, defense was in there, special teams, everybody. We were all just talking.
Where did it take place?
In the hotel. After we have a team meeting every night in the hotel, and then after we had that, we just sat together as a team.
Just like a ballroom or a conference room or something?
Yeah, yeah.
Who called the meeting? Who decided to have it?
I think we all kind of, the defense, we definitely wanted to have a meeting. But Michael Buchanan and Terry Hawthorne were the guys walking around, kind of spreading the word to everybody else.
Was it just airing of grievances, or what kind of was it? Rallying cry?
Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of stating what we already knew, which was we're not playing the way that we were capable of playing. And, you know, there were definitely, you know, conversations in there that were a little bit awkward, a little bit tight, but there are things that needed to be talked about. And you know, we're all a team, we're all a family, and we know that. And, you know, we talked about things, and we kind of was just a morale booster.
Do you think you needed that from players instead of hearing it from coaches?
I think you need a healthy mixture of both. I think it's known that every championship team is player-driven, and I think that's something that we're working on becoming as a player-driven team. I think we have glimpses of it, but I don't think it's consistent as it needs to be.
Who did most of the speaking in a meeting like that? Who would get up and?
I know Buchanan and Terry spoke a lot. Tommy Davis got up and spoke. Akeem Spence spoke a lot. And then people put in little chirps here and there. I know I stood up and said some things. Nate did as well. Jonathan Brown did. So there are a lot of people chiming in.
What was the overall theme? You talked about the defense wanting to get swarming and going more aggressive, but what was the overall theme of the meeting? Where'd you guys, when you walked out, what'd you feel?
I think that the main point of that meeting was to kind of, I feel like we've been kind of shelled a little bit, meaning that we're kind of prohibiting ourselves in ways that we never did before. And so I think that the point of the meeting was to just kind of go out there with our swagger and just kind of be out there having fun. It's basically, I think we've been playing tight, thinking a lot. For whatever reason, I have no idea. But we haven't been playing the same way we were all last year. And I think that for the first 3 quarters of that game, we were.
Even though you guys had that strong defense last year, when there was a coaching change, did it feel like this was a whole starting point again? You got to kind of prove yourself, even though a lot of stuff were changing and everything was starting from scratch? Or did you guys feel like you're rolling the season with a strong defense?
I feel like we knew what we had as far as talent. Definitely with new coaches, there's a new learning curve with new defenses and adjustments and calls and things like that. But the concepts are all basically very similar to what we had last year. So I don't think that there was, you know, a huge difference. But I think that there are little differences, but, you know, I feel like we should be able to handle that.
I don't know if this was asked already, but Beckman brought up how everyone maybe is trying to overdo and not just do their job. Do you think that's something that can be fixed before Michigan this weekend?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that especially late in that game, it was already mentioned that people were trying to make plays, and you know, even though it wasn't necessarily their job. So I think that is a concern, but we are working on that this week.